Now then, we're going to turn our attentions once again to the World Economic Forum in the Swiss Alps, where political and business leaders have gathered for their annual meeting to discuss issues facing the global economy. Well, with them is our very own business leader, our business editor, in fact, Stephen Carroll. Stephen, lots of focus there on what the European Central Bank might announce a little bit later today. What are people there actually expecting, would you say?
Yeah, this is being described by some as the most important Thursday this year. That's because we're expecting a big announcement from the European Central Bank when it holds its press conference in Frankfurt. Later, they're expected to announce a new round of stimulus for the Eurozone. This is quantitative easing, two complicated words we've heard before being used in the context of the United States, the United Kingdom and Japan. And what we're expecting, according to reports from Mario Draghi and his colleagues, is they're going to announce a government bond buying programme worth around 50 billion euros a year. That's going to continue for at least a year. It may last longer than that, but the effort is to try and pump money into the Eurozone economy, thus freeing up the markets to invest and helping Eurozone economies in that way. Because, of course, growth, both globally and in the Eurozone, is a major issue of concern, both here at the World Economic Forum in Davos and in capitals around the world. There's one of the major debates taking place here in just over an hour's time is based on growth and stability in Europe. It's going to be attended by the Prime Ministers of the Netherlands, Ireland, Finland. Germany's Economy Minister will be there as well, and they're going to be discussing ways to try and improve the situation here in Europe. Now, the effect of this quantitative easing, this announcement from the ECB later on the value of the euro, will be a value to watch for us later today. We've seen some steps taken by other central banks, notably here in Switzerland, in recent days to try to preempt what might happen if the value of the euro is going to fall. It's raised questions of whether or not there's a currency war looming here in Europe. We put that question to Margarita Jerzenek-Hanuz, who's the lead economist here at the World Economic Forum. Let's take a listen.
For the currency wars, what we observe now is rather not clear currency wars, but rather consequences of the economic situation. And especially when we look at the currency movements between the Swiss francs, the euro and the dollar that we've observed recently, these are not driven by proactive measures by those countries, but rather a consequence of the different economic situations, of economic shifts between those different regions and countries. So for now, we do not consider this as a major risk. Now, it may come up in the future, but for now, we do not consider this as a major risk.
Of course, falling oil prices have been an issue for global economies as well. Falling oil prices are good for growth, but they don't help those low inflation figures and the possibility of deflation. Motorists, though, of course, are benefiting from lower prices at the pumps. Another group that's benefiting are airlines, and we've been speaking to the Chief Executive of Emirates Airlines, Sir Tim Clark. He's been speaking to my colleague Marcus Carlson about the effect of those low oil prices on their consumers.
At the moment, we're not seeing any major fall-off in demand for virtually all our routes. What you're seeing is a reset, and it's going to have some short-term effects on the producers, the oil multinationals, etc., many of which are working in our part of the world. That's the Middle East, etc. But as this reset, this adjustment takes place, and I think things will stabilise, and the oil price probably go back to a level where I believe it should have been for many years, which is about in the region of $50 to $70.
Now, lower oil prices also means lower fuel prices for airlines. How is the lower oil price impacting the airline business, and how is it impacting your company?
Well, that depends on the hedging positions of the many of my competitor airlines who have gone forward and actually positioned their future buying at much higher levels than they are today. I was very close to where they were in the past. So they have to deal with those, and until they unwind those positions or trade out of those positions, their ability to reduce prices is going to be very difficult. I'm pleased to say that Emirates hasn't hedged, and we don't as a matter of policy hedge. And we work and trade the business on the spot prices, so we have now been able to get the benefits, short-term benefits of what's happened in the last 6 months.
If we look ahead then to the rest of the year, what are the main risks from your perspective to your company?
You know, we're going to see the continuum of the hydrocarbon pricing. You're going to see the geopolitical issues that haven't gone away in the sort of European Middle Eastern areas. Those will not disappear, and they're going to have a more of a question of effect on investment, demand, etc. But as far as Emirates is concerned, we will continue to grow our business. We always have done. We've always dealt with global regional adversity, I think, fairly well. That's why we've managed to be as successful as we have been.
Cybersecurity is another major topic up for discussion today. We're going to be hearing from the German Chancellor Angela Merkel. She's speaking later on here in Davos in a speech that's entitled Global Responsibilities in a Digital Age. That's going to be followed up later with a forum involving the chief executives of Microsoft and Google, as well as the chief operating officer from Facebook. Now, their responsibility in governance and securing the internet is also up for discussion here. We've been speaking to the head of the ICANN group, which lobbies for more secure and better governance of the internet, Fadi Shaheda. Let's have a listen to what he had to say.
Quite frankly, I think companies in the internet space need to step up their involvement and commitment to their public responsibilities. We've seen some efforts by some companies to advance that beyond their focus on their growth and their business and the innovation, which we all need and welcome. But companies in the internet space need to participate fully in rebuilding the lost trust and the integrity of the internet.
Before we go, a very quick look at what's happening on the markets in Asia. Of course, all of the markets focused very much on that European Central Bank decision yet. A pretty mixed picture of what we can see on the Asian markets. No great movements yet at the moment, though. We'll have more for you from the World Economic Forum in Davos, but for now, it's back to you, Stuart.
Stephen, thank you very much. Yes, Stephen there at Davos for us on France 24. He'll be there tomorrow morning as well. Hopefully back in the studio, though, with us here next week. Now,